The rabbit hole is deep, you guys. Nikocado's been doing this to people for a very, very, very long time. There's a lot of victims. Many, many, many. It's like war with this kid. Like if you slip up a little bit, he's gonna take advantage of that to the fullest, to try to destroy you, to ruin your reputation, to get people to not trust you. And I think this is the first time he did it. Unless he was doing this in high school too. What's up, everybody? Look at me, I'm in HD. I pulled out all my nice video equipment because last time I filmed it on a potato and it looked terrible. Because back in the day, Nikocado really messed with my reputation. He got many thousands of people to believe absolute lies about me. And so yes, it does feel good to finally get all these views saying, oh my God, you exposed Nikocado before it was cool. And it looked terrible, and this time I really want to pull out all the stops and just tell this story properly in hopes that it is influential to, if not Nikocado and Orlin, then to the YouTube community. Basically, I want to say that Nikocado's been doing this to people for a very, very, very long time, and a lot of people have been using my footage and other people's footage recently to prove that, because these things are starting to surface. And I think people, now that Nikocado's kind of been exposed a little bit, people are feeling more comfortable about coming out and telling their stories about what he's done to them. And so I think I am the first person, at least on YouTube, that he has started this attacking pattern of his with. But I do have evidence that he's been bullying people since high school. So without further ado, let's get into it, shall we? I think it all starts in 2012, where I make a video called Utopia or Oblivion. It's about how we're all crazy humans who made a big mess and now we gotta clean it up. He saw the video, he loved it so much that later he freaking downloads it and cuts it up and makes the same exact video in his words, except using a lot of my words with my imagery in the same sequences. But that's not why I'm mentioning that video. I'm mentioning it because he saw it, and that's the first reason he contacted me. He said, I loved your video so much on Facebook Messenger, and that's when we started talking. From then on, our conversations were mostly about video equipment, my video equipment in particular, in the same sort of ways that he was talking to Stephanie Soo about all her fancy nice stuff, her security systems. I don't think he was necessarily being creepy with her. He didn't want to mess with her security systems or nothing. I think this is what he does. He finds somebody with fancy nice things that he wants, and he learns about them, so maybe he can have them in the future. I don't think he was necessarily trying to be creepy to Steph to say he's going to mess with her house or anything like that. But I think it is interesting to note that he was never wanting to be my friend or learn things about me as a person. It was always about my video equipment or, stuff like that. So fast forward to 2014, him and I meet in person at the Woodstock Fruit Festival. I'm getting married to my wife Anna, and he is playing violin at our wedding. He was asked to play because people knew he played. He volunteered, was happy to volunteer, was excited to volunteer. I say all this because later he makes a video full of lies saying that they should have paid him, and he totally tries to destroy this festival unfairly in so many dishonest ways. But anyways, he plays for our wedding. He does a beautiful job. Unfortunately, when I'm making a post thanking everybody on Facebook, I forget to mention him. I think that's the first thing that I do that really pisses him off. I think he made a comment or something. Somebody made a comment that brought to attention that I didn't thank him. So I immediately went on the post and edited the post and thanked him. Said he did a beautiful job. But anyways, I think that's the first thing I did that really bothered him. Second thing I did was I came up to him to thank him in person for doing what he did at the wedding. And I was really socially awkward back then, like super socially awkward. Like I hated talking to people. Couldn't look people in the eyes. I didn't want to be talking. It's a whole nother story, but like I was just super awkward, right? And so I thanked him. It was probably something like this. I was like, hey Nick, thanks for playing at my wedding. Or something. Then I walked away awkwardly. It was like terrible. It was really bad, right? And he took it really personally. Like I didn't want to be his friend. Like I was trying to avoid him or something like that. I don't know exactly what he was thinking, but I imagine it was something along those lines. So that's the second thing I did that really pissed him off. Third thing, he was making a bunch of drama on his Facebook page. He did a lot of that. He is Nikocado Avocado, right? He became Nikocado Avocado because he was eating insane amounts of avocados. He would eat like 19 avocados in a mukbang. And he was in this community called the Low Fat Raw Vegan community. Low fat, high carb, that's what we eat, right? And he's eating a ton of avocados. So he had people being like, yo, bro, you should probably not eat so many avocados. And being Nick, he takes everything super personally, didn't like that one bit. So he was at war with this community, right? And so he was making drama videos about how he can eat high fat and it's fine and blah, blah, blah. And yeah, I agree. You can eat however you want. That's not where our beef came from. Our beef came from him using this drama on Facebook to plug his YouTube channel. I just felt like it was shady, it wasn't done with integrity. But I came up to him in private message and said, yo, inspect your integrity. You're making a lot of drama on Facebook and using it to plug your YouTube channel to get more views. I felt like I was friends enough with him where I could give a little constructive criticism, but no, I couldn't. That was a big mistake. That really, really pissed him off. So in the coming days after that, I get a strike on my YouTube channel. It says, Carlos Plaus put a strike on this video, said that you used footage that was his. It was actually a YouTube video where I did use somebody else's footage. I didn't really know what I was doing back then. I shouldn't have done it. But it wasn't Carlos Plaus. It was not somebody named Carlos Plaus's footage. So I look into Carlos Plaus. I find out that the only comments it's ever made, the only channel it's had any engagement on is Nicocado's, and the comments were ridiculous. They were like, oh my god, you're so amazing. You're like the coolest YouTuber ever. And it became painfully obvious that it was a fake account, and Nick was using it to not only put a strike on my channel, but to garner support, fake support on his own channel. And so I asked him, hey Nick, this Carlos Plaus guy seems to like you a lot. Will you ask him to maybe, because he's so much your fan, will you ask him maybe to please take this strike off my channel? And he's like, yeah, sure, of course. And he was like, oh, after like a week went by or something, he's like, yeah, I tried, he didn't answer. I have a whole video about this. You can watch the details about this. But basically, I say, as a way to kind of get this copy strike off my back and also kind of prove that it's Nick, I say, hey, it's okay. I know how I can find out who it is. I'm a computer nerd. I'm a hacker. I can find out his IP address as soon as I dispute the claim. 10 minutes after I send that to Nick, the claim is taken off my YouTube account. Obviously Nick, who did it. Nick and Orlin are totally ridiculous. They keep asking me to do things for them. Eventually I'm like, okay, no. You put a strike on my channel. I'm not doing anything for you. Maybe in the future, if you apologize and Nick's really nice to me for a while, I'll start being friends with you guys again. So Nick doesn't say anything until I think the 2015 Woodstock Fruit Festival, where he comes up to me on the first day, says, yeah, he admits that it was me, that it was him. He apologizes, and he tells me that he did it because two reasons. One of them I will not mention because I feel like it's too personal, but one of the reasons is because he was jealous of my camera equipment and my YouTube channel, my skills, and blah, blah, blah. So that kind of says a little bit of something. His whole relationship with me, all he talked about was my video equipment, my stuff, my blah, blah, blah. And he was upset, obviously. I think this is something he does. He gets upset by something and then attacks, and this is his pattern. So he apologizes, so I try to give him the benefit of the doubt and try to become friends with him again. I help him out when he rips his pants at that festival. We give him our sewing kit that we had to fix his pants. I film a video with him. I'm trying to put it in our past, right? So this very same year, he makes 9 videos about how much he loves this Woodstock Fruit Festival, loves this and that, and there's a video about this and a video about that. I friggin' love this place, right? 9 videos, 120 minutes or more. That's like a full film about how much he loves this festival. 6-day festival, 9 videos. He loved it, right? I'm saying this because it wasn't a few months later that he is trying to destroy this festival. He's trying to bring it down, trying to end it, literally trying to end it. With lies, of course, with manipulations, with half-truths, with incredible dishonest tactics that I guess I'll get into. But here's why. Let's get into this first. Here's why, after 9 videos of praise, he makes 3 videos trying to destroy the Woodstock Fruit Festival. He started eating cooked food, and some people within the community had some stuff to say about that. Stupid stuff to say, I will admit. They said things like, oh, he's lost his way. Oh, he's fallen off the path, fallen off the wagon. He's returned to eating toxic food. Stupid stuff. I agree that it's stupid stuff. I agree that there's a lot of stupid things and people within the raw food movement. He did not like that one little bit, so here comes the pattern again. He gets offended, tries to destroy whoever offends him. And in this case, he saw it as the whole community trying to offend him. So what does he do? He makes many videos about how raw food is bad, an eating disorder, and how raw vegans are insane, and how the Woodstock Fruit Festival, the largest fruit festival in the world, is a freaking insane place where they starve their volunteers and they pull coconuts out of the trash and make food out of them and feed them to the people who are paying way too much money, and they wouldn't let him have a wedding there, and he insinuated it was because he was gay, and all this stuff because he got offended. He's now trying to destroy. This is his pattern. This is what he does. So I work with the Woodstock Fruit Festival. I'm their videographer. And so I'm making a video to defend them. I'm working with them to defend them. And here's where I mess up. I make the mistake of talking on Facebook about making this video. I say, hey, I'm going to make this video. I'm going to work with a doctor to prove that he's lying about the herpes thing. That's not what I should have done. I should have kept it private and just come out with the video. All of this would have been very different had I done that. But no, I had to let people know that I was making the video, so it alerted Nick. So what he did was made a 40-minute long video to try to get people to distrust me. So Nick sees my post. He realizes that now he has the opportunity to discredit me, to make me look dishonest before my video even comes out. So what he does that night is he makes a 40-minute long video about me, about the Woodstock Fruit Festival, about my wife, about my friends and my community, to try to discredit me. So when this video comes out, nobody will believe me. Nobody will believe the Woodstock Fruit Festival. Nobody will believe my wife or anybody else for that matter. It's like war with this kid. Like if you slip up a little bit, he's going to take advantage of that to the fullest to try to destroy you, to ruin your reputation, to get people to not trust you. And I think this is the first time he did it, unless he was doing this in high school too. Who knows? I have evidence that he's bullying kids in high school at least. So in this 40-minute long video, some of the things Nick said was that I called this person retarded, which I never did. In fact, it was just a projection of Nick's. I have evidence that Nick says that this person he thinks he's mentally ill. He said that I was slut shaming this girl, saying that I was anti-breastfeeding. None of that was true. You can watch my video. I can prove that that's not the case. He said that I never thanked him for him playing at the wedding. Again, not true. We thanked him publicly, privately, in person, on Facebook. Both Anna and I did. He said that Anna didn't thank him either. On my Facebook, there's a thing that you can go and read along with watching Nick's video, and it shows everything that he lied about. It's another genius thing Nick does. He makes these really, really long videos just full of lies. So it's just a huge pain to even go through it. And you have to make like a video that's twice as long as his ridiculously long video just to prove that everything he's saying is false. Just to save your character, just to defend your reputation and yourself. It's quite evil if you ask me. Evil genius. Anyways, some of the other things he did, it's funny, in this video with Stephanie Soo, he was saying, oh, I never filmed anybody without their permission, but he did. In one of these videos, all of these videos are deleted, by the way, but in one of these videos, he filmed this girl, Lisa, without her permission, and then used the footage later in these videos, which I believe is completely illegal, really messed up. And this is a woman who paid for him to get into the festival, I think twice. Paid for Orlin as well, at least once, I do believe. And in total, that's like $5,000. This lady paid out of the kindness of her heart $5,000 for them to get into this festival. And I think it was even more because one of the festivals was 2 weeks long. So it could be closer to $7,000 or $10,000 that this woman paid. And in the video shows these conversations where he's literally asking her to buy a house for him. And then he later goes and throws her under the bus for no good reason whatsoever. Just because she didn't want to keep paying things because she knew that he was just taking advantage of her. The amount of things he's done to people is absolutely insane, and it doesn't just end here. It goes on for years between this point to Stephanie Soo. I've had so many people come up to me and ask me to use my video or ask me to help defend them. And because I told myself I'm done, I'm not letting him waste any more of my energy, I said no, but I told them they can use my video as they want. That's why I think Pink ASMR, I don't even know who these people are. I didn't even look at their thing. Veronica Wang. I'm in contact with a lot of these people that he's messed with over the years. Brianna Jackson, for example, I have conversations. I'm not going to get into them because she just made a video and she didn't want to get into it. But I have a conversation that says, hey, I just want to see you're well. I thought a lot of negative things about you just from hearsay, but watching your older videos, wow. So Nick screwed with her, and then she saw my video and then was like, wow, Nick made me think that Rainey was this terrible person, but now that I've seen his video, it's clear that Nick was the terrible person and he was just manipulating me all along. The rabbit hole is deep, you guys. There's a lot of victims. Many, many, many victims. So, I don't know how much more deep I want to get into this. I'll say a few more things. Since this, Nick has contacted me. He sent me an email in 2016 saying, can we come to an agreement to remove our videos? If I remove my videos about Woodstock, will you remove your 2 response videos as well as the videos on the Woodstock Fruit Festival account? And at this point, it's pretty clear to me that he's just wanting to delete his past, because at this point in 2016, Vegan Cheetah was all over him. He was pulling up drama and he didn't want Vegan Cheetah to find this video that I made. So he was going to delete his videos anyways, which was clear because after this email, he deleted all his videos. I say, hey Nick, I'm sorry it took me a while to get back to you. I just saw this email today. I've got to say I'm really questioning your intentions. I just don't see you asking me these things out of some altruistic desire for peace all of a sudden. What's going on here? Perhaps if you're honest with me, I'll help you out. I just really don't trust you. And I have every right not to trust him. I think if we're really going to squash this, we've got to publicly clear the air, because you did a fair amount of unjustified damage to Woodstock Fruit Festival's reputation, Lisa's, and mine as well. Let me know if you're willing to reopen communication, because I think that's really the only way we can erase the past in a meaningful way. Fast forward to today, I think Stephanie, Soo, and Zach, and a bunch of other people probably feel these same exact thoughts about Nick. They just want an apology. They just want him to recognize what he's done, and they'll move on. Everybody will move on, but he won't do it. So he responds, I don't want to hurt anybody or misrepresent the intentions of your festival. Well, that's funny because that's exactly what he wanted to do just a year before this. I also don't like reliving a video I made last year out of anger. I'm seeing the error in my ways and I want to make some changes. So still not an apology, but he's acknowledging that he made mistakes. That's a good start, right? Hey Nicholas, this is good to hear. I want to believe in people's ability to change, so I will entertain the idea of getting the past erased. Like I said before, I feel that the only way to erase the past in a meaningful, positively impactful way is to really come to terms with the whole situation. Since you decided to go public with your concerns and you tarnished the reputation of many, I feel like publicly addressing the situation is the logical way of going about it. Otherwise, the past is erased only in your favor, and everyone else affected by your behavior gets the short end of the stick. I'm open to continue communication about the issue if you're interested, in hopes that we can both rectify the situation in a way that we are both comfortable with. He replies, so, what's the first step? I say, well, I think that depends on a few factors. In order for you to give a public apology that would be meaningful to everyone you've affected, we would have to be in agreement about some things. For example, do you really believe that Woodstock gave you herpes? Or that they're ripping off their attendees for profit? Or that I called James retarded? Or that I tried to make Tasha feel like a slut? Or that I told anybody that they have to eat low fat or else they're wrong? I mean, the list goes on and on. In your recent video, you vaguely referred to your related statements as exaggerations. I mean, that in itself is dishonest and just further instills skepticism about your motives here. I want to give you a chance, but I also want to hold you accountable for your actions. I hope you understand. And he never replied to that. Of course he never replied to that, because what that means is he has to go on record and say that he's sorry for all of his lies, which he won't do for me, he won't do for Stephanie Soo, he won't do for the Woodstock Fruit Festival, he won't do for Zach Choi, he won't do for God knows how many other people he's done this to. This is his pattern. So, I think this email shows a lot of proof, shows that he's not willing to recognize all the things he's done to all the people he's done them to. The saddest thing, honestly, the thing that bothers me the most about this whole situation is not what he did to Stephanie Soo or Zach Choi or the Woodstock Fruit Festival or my wife or Lisa, or got thousands of people to think terrible things about me that aren't true. The saddest thing is what he's done to his husband, Orlin. Orlin was an amazing person before all of this. Orlin would go and volunteer on his free time for people who needed it. He would go to a country in Africa, I don't remember which one, and volunteer, do service for others. Orlin was an amazing person before he met Nikocado. And Nikocado dragged him down. Yes, Orlin allowed him to drag him down, but I think Orlin has been manipulated the absolute most out of all of this. In retrospect, the intention of my last video was pretty naive. My intention was to get everybody to see Nick's patterns, recognize that it's coming from trauma, and instead of continuing to trigger him through canceling him and saying, Nick, you're crazy, you're insane, to try to help him with love, to say, hey, Nick, we understand where your patterns come from. The bunny is just going crazy on the couch right now. Little cray-cray buns. Tiny boy. Tiny boy. The intention for the other video was to show Nick's patterns, hopefully get people to understand where they came from, which is probably childhood trauma. I felt like if his audience understood why he is the way he is, they may be able to respond to him differently, which would make him so he's not triggered anymore, and so he's not attacking anymore, so he can look at himself and change and apologize. That was the intention for the last video. Maybe he didn't see it. Maybe enough people didn't see it to actually make the difference that I was hoping to. But I also just think that that video is naive. I think if there's a solution to this, it's going to come from Orlin. I think the only person Nick actually cares about is Orlin. I think their relationship is incredibly dysfunctional. I bet there's far more attachment than love. But I think the only person Nick really cares about is his family, himself, and Orlin. And so Orlin, if you're watching this, or if Nick, if you're watching this, do this, if not for yourself, do this for Orlin, because he was an incredible person before he met you. That might sound rude, but it's just the truth. He was a really great person, and you have dragged him down and down and down. And Orlin, you have let him drag you down and down and down. I'm aware that you've tried to get away a few times. I don't know what's happening there. You guys are crying on camera. I don't know a lot about your relationship, but I feel like I know enough. I know how good of a person Orlin used to be. I know that you guys have all these videos where like, oh, we're breaking up for real, and you both are crying, and Orlin is like, you're ruining my life, and Nick is like, I'm ruining your life, and then the next video is like, you guys are eating together.
Love me. Yeah. Are you ever gonna say divorce again? No, give me the fucking book. Are you ever gonna say it again? It hurt. Will you ever say divorce? Will you ever say divorce again? No. Do not. Give it to me. It hurts.
He's like burning his face off with some spicy thing, and you won't hand him the milk unless he promises not to leave you. I'm pretty sure I know enough about your relationship to say that is incredibly dysfunctional. And you are both just really attached to each other, and I wouldn't freaking doubt it if Orlin's not shackled to the basement right now, because he's tried to get away a bunch of times and you just haven't let him. So before I get into marriage counseling, I hope it's kind of showed you that Nick has been like this for a really long time. I feel like we just need to convince the last of his followers to break the spell that they're under, because that's what it is. Nick is gaslighting, manipulating, being dishonest, lying, doing just terrible, terrible things to his viewers, to people in his life, to his husband, I can only imagine. And it's just really, really sad. And this video is not only here to get people to see his patterns so they don't get hurt by him, but this video is also here to remind Orlin of the person that he is, the amazingly good person, kind-hearted human being that Orlin is, and remind Nick of that as well. And that if you love Orlin, you will get help. Nick, I know you probably don't care about Stephanie Soo or me or any of the other many people that you've hurt, but I hope you care about Orlin, and he's suffering because of you. It's as simple as that. It's getting late, and I'm going to end it here. This is already way longer than I wanted this to be, but I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please give it a like. And I know this is not a mukbang channel. It's not a drama channel. It is a very different channel. So I'm not going to ask you to subscribe, but just have a good night. Peace.